In my own journey in scaling SaaS companies as a founder, as an operator, as an advisor to over 250 SaaS companies, there's two things I learned. Number one, we as founders, especially in the early stage, and actually I've seen it in the later stages as well, we tend to undercharge for our product. And number two, because we tend to undercharge for our product, our prospects and our customers tend to undervalue our products. This is something that's pure human behavior. The price of something often indicates the quality and the value they're going to receive from it. You price way too high and you don't communicate the value, then people will not perceive that value. But you price way too low, you don't communicate the value, then they'll look at it and say, this can't possibly be worth my time. So in my journey, when I raised prices thoughtfully, growth ensued, win rates went up, competitive dynamics improved in the market. And when I worked with founders, I've seen founders 5x their pricing. And through that transformation, they were able to actually increase win rates and conversion rates, and their growth accelerated. On today's Unstoppable episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 principles that you absolutely need to know to actually optimize your SaaS pricing strategy. And when you actually optimize your SaaS pricing strategy, you'll be able to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS business faster with an unstoppable strategy. Now, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies on how to grow your SaaS business faster. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode with the TK energy. And if you're already part of this community, if you are part of my coaching programs, my people, welcome back. It's really awesome to see you over here. Now, I remember in my last company, Toutapp, that's the company that I started. We pioneered the sales engagement space. We sold it to Marketo. There was one point in time in the company where we were in a bit of trouble. And I had to book a meeting with 2 of my investors. It was Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz. And in that meeting, I walked them through exactly what was going on, what the dynamics were, especially like, you know, by that time I had computed all different angles and what's going on with the company as we do as founders, and I walked them through all of it. And after I did, there was this moment where I'm like, okay, what do you think we should do? And I was waiting for this like really complicated advice, I guess. I'm like, well, these guys are some of the smartest in the business. And Ben spoke up and he said, you know, what I think you should do is just raise your prices. I think that if you raise your prices, a lot of these core issues will solve itself. In fact, I think that's true for a lot of portfolio companies that we have. And so I was like, okay, seems simple enough. I went back to the team and we said, we need to raise our prices. But what we learned was you can't just double your prices. Like you can't just increase the price. You have to go at it in a surgical way. And so we did. And when we did, Ben was right. We solved a whole bunch of core issues in the business. Our renewals went up. Our growth rate went up. We were able to fix the competitive dynamics. It just caused the chain reaction to the business that made everything kind of rise up. And that's where I really learned, like, okay, you can actually optimize your SaaS pricing strategy, but if you do it in a proper way, then you'll actually be able to improve and fix a lot of underlying issues that may not be directly obvious that it's related to pricing. And I did the same thing with other founders that I advised through my coaching programs. And I saw win rates go up and growth accelerate, all because they looked at pricing in a strategic way. And so having learned all of that, I want to walk you through the 3 principles you absolutely need to know so you too can optimize your pricing strategy and accelerate growth and change the competitive dynamics in your market. So let's go to principle number 1. If you're excited to dig in, go ahead and smash that like button and let's dig right into it. So principle number 1 that I have to say, almost to reiterate, just so it's in your head, is you have to raise prices. I have rarely seen a company where they're in the early stages and they're getting to that, they have some revenues and they're scaling their go-to-market and they're seeing competitive pressures, or they're really trying to figure out, well, what's wrong? Why is this not hitting? Raise prices. Like, I can give that as a blanket saying you are most likely undercharging for your product, and because of that, you are actually hurting yourself out in the market. And so principle number 1 is raise prices. And a lot of times founders get scared about raising prices because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to risk the revenue. And so what we always say is grandfather existing customers and freeze the plan, no new features in that plan. And then number 2, raise prices for new deals. And a pro tip here is existing pipeline, tell them the prices are going up, so they can use the new prices for a limited time. What this does is it de-risks any price changes you're gonna do. You don't risk your existing customers. You tell your existing pipeline like, hey, we're gonna raise prices, but right now if you join, and so it creates urgency to say, look, prices are going up, but we'll lock it in for you. If you join now versus dragging along, then they see the different value. And then number 3, for new deals, use the pricing. That's what you need to be doing. And that way you don't overthink it. And that's what we did, and it worked really well. And that's what we did for any founder that I coach. And that's what really worked well for them. So principle number 1 is you need to be raising prices, but you need to stop being afraid of it, and you can de-risk yourself by doing this. And then over time, you can actually convince these grandfathered people to go to new prices by telling them to upgrade to new plans, which has new features and new bells and whistles because they're in the grandfathered plan. Super simple. So once you're into principle number 1, then you might be saying, cool, how do we raise prices? And the biggest thing I can tell you is it's not just about blanket raising the prices. You want to think about it a little bit more strategically in order to get it right. And the key pieces that you want to be thinking, I actually break it down into 3 key components that you want to think through separately. The first component that you really want to think about separately, before you even think about raising the price, is your packaging. So another way to think about it is your tiers. A lot of times, companies in the early stages will just have like, well, we just cost X dollars per month or X dollars per year or whatever it may be. This is the package. And what they don't do is think about where are they in the customer journey and how do you think about what they need right now, why they would upgrade over time, what are the more advanced features. And they don't really think through what are the different ways we can slice and dice the feature set that we offer, the ROI we offer, the value that we offer into different pieces, and we package that separately so that when customers look at getting into the platform, they actually have choices on how deep they want to go. Do they want to start small? Do they want to go all in? Are there different pieces that they value differently? And that's the art in packaging and tiers. Before you think about what is the price, what you really want to think about is how do we package the different pieces we offer in our platform. And chances are, if you've got some revenues and you're scaling, or even if you're in the late stages, I was at Marketo, I was an SVP of strategy there because they bought Kader. Even at 400 plus million ARR, we were repackaging and reslicing the tiers and raising our prices to compete in the market in a better way, and it paid off. And so no matter what stage you're in, you can start to rethink what your packaging and your tiers will be to better articulate the value and the pricing that you're going to present to customers, whether you're sales-led or product-led. Now, once you start thinking about packaging and tiers, the next thing you want to think about is your actual price, right? And in this kind of case, you want to think about, cool, for these packages, what are the different prices we want to do? And on its own, you just want to go into this thinking about what is the value you're delivering to the business and how do you price compared to that versus the cost of building the software or running the AWS services. Software businesses are supposed to have 90% margins when they're highly efficient. It's supposed to be super cheap for you to services. That's why these are incredible businesses. But you still need to price it pegged to the value you're delivering to your customers, whether it's a business value or a personal value or whatever it may be. So you want to rethink your pricing. Like I said, I've worked with companies where we 5x'd our prices, and even with that, our win rates went up. And we were actually better able to win customers because they're like, okay, no, I see the value and I see they look at the company differently and the product differently and the decision differently. So once you have the packaging and the tiers, then you want to revisit how much you're pricing for this. And then the third piece, which often gets forgotten, is to think through terms. And this is one of the things that can really materially change your business. We changed this in Tout. I changed this in other companies I've coached in helping founders think through it. Now, the obvious thing is you could do monthly, but you can also think about payments on a quarterly basis or a yearly basis or even a 5-year basis. We have one company in the program that has revamped their pricing and they do 5-year deals because that's what's normal in their industry. Now, if packaging is the first piece, second is price, then you also want to think about terms because these 3 things together essentially form your pricing strategy. A lot of times people just fixate on the price, but they don't think about the packaging and the tiers. A lot of times people think about the price and the packaging, but they don't think about the terms. But in combining these 3 things and thinking about it holistically, because we thought about it holistically in the past, we were able to surgically change our pricing strategy, and that led to a material change in the business. Now, there's one more principle that you need to be thinking about as part of this SaaS pricing optimization. Now, before I go into that, let me pause here for a second. Are you starting to see the power in this? Are you starting to get a little excited about how you can revamp your pricing? And that can solve a lot of issues in your business that you may be facing, whether it's competitive dynamics, whether it's differentiation, whether it's getting customers to just get started in a small way and then grow over time. If you're starting to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? And also smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really likes it when you do that. If you're starting to get some questions on how you would approach pricing, put in the comments below as well. I try to answer every single comment that's there to make sure that you get maximal value from this channel. Also, pricing is just one of the ways that you can grow your SaaS company. There are other ways. So if you want to dig into all the different ways you can grow your SaaS business faster, then I encourage you to check out my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. It's completely free. I'll link to it below. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video, but let's go to principle number 3 and smash that like button if you haven't already. The YouTube algorithm really likes it. Principle number 3 is how you present this pricing, right? You think about, whether you're product-led or sales-led, the customer goes through a journey. They're discovering your website. Maybe they're getting on a sales call or a demo call, or they're starting a trial. Through all those pieces, at some point, the pricing is presented to them. Now, that pricing on its own doesn't mean anything. When you're presenting the pricing, whether it's through a website or a product or through a sales process, this is positioned in context to the value and the transformation they're going to be receiving from your software product, from your SaaS product. And so the third principle that you need to revisit as part of your SaaS pricing optimization is your messaging, and specifically your ROI, your return on investment. Ultimately, when you are presenting the price for something, any savvy business buyer, which is pretty much every buyer today, is thinking about, cool, if I give you $1 for the software product, what is my return on investment? And what does this transformation mean for me? How quickly do I make my money back? So I'll give you an example. With ToutApp, we used to sell software for sales engagement, and we would say, cool, what's your average deal size? And they would say, our average deal size is 50K. I'm like, great. What this platform does is it generates more pipeline for you. And so it will cost you 25K to get started, to get your whole sales team on it, and then you can grow from there as you take on more features. But even if one salesperson got one more deal, you would make your money back and then some. Obviously, it's going to do a lot more around that, and it's going to help you 10x your pipeline. So would you say that 25K is worth it? This is part of that messaging and then return on investment. You see what I did there? I crafted it in the context of the value they're going to be receiving, their return on investment, and what they can actually get for the money they're spending on the platform. And that's the power of a proper messaging and ROI framework that you can follow. And so as part of the SaaS pricing strategy, you also need to visit, what is our messaging? What's our strategic narrative? What's the transformation we're bringing? And how do we communicate the return on investment they're going to get based on the packaging and the pricing and the terms that we're going to be giving? These key things go together. And when you actually approach your pricing optimization between your packaging, your price, and your terms, and then you wrap it essentially in a bow with your messaging and your ROI, all of these pieces come together beautifully. And that way, by the time you're presenting your pricing and your positioning and your packages, the buyer is already primed on the transformation, the messaging that you're going to be delivering, the transformation they're going to be receiving, the ROI. And so when they look at the price, they're like thinking already to like, okay, cool, these guys are going to help me do this. This is the transformation. Here's what happens when we don't do this. And this is the price. That seems like a no-brainer. And the terms make it where there's zero risk here. So let's get started. And that's the power of optimizing your SaaS pricing. So to recap, principle number 1, raise prices. Just raise prices, de-risk it. Principle number 2, don't just raise the price. Think about it in these 3 components. What's your packaging and your tiers? What's the price and how are you going to change that? And what are the terms? And then once you have these 3 pieces, look at it in the context of your messaging and your ROI, revamp that so it reflects, and these 2 go hand in hand. You follow these 3 principles, you will be able to revamp your SaaS pricing, you'll be able to optimize your SaaS pricing, and you'll be able to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. That's the power in this. And this is a framework that I've used across multiple companies, in my own companies as a founder, as an operator, and also as an advisor to other SaaS companies as well. And so that's why I really believe in this, and I wanted to share with you so you can think about your SaaS pricing strategy as well. Now, changing your pricing is just one of the different ways you can accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. If you want to look at all the different ways you can really accelerate the growth of your SaaS business, then I encourage you to download my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. It's completely free, and it goes into all the key ways you can actually accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. It'll link to different videos so you can dig into it more. It's amazing. It's completely free. It's my way to just really giving back and helping as many SaaS founders as possible grow faster. All you need to do is just go to getunstoppable.com/strategy. Getunstoppable.com/strategy. Just put in your email and you'll get a download right away. It's an amazing guide. and it'll help you actually think through all the different levers you have to accelerate the growth of your SaaS business. If you got value from this video, please smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. My team and I put a lot of love into these videos. We want to help as many SaaS founders and leaders as possible. So hitting that like button helps us spread our message, helps more SaaS founders just like you. And that way we can help the community and we can all grow incredible SaaS businesses together. If you enjoyed this video, I drop an episode every single Sunday with actionable strategies on how to grow your SaaS business faster from the trenches. This is not theory. This is stuff that I've done, I've helped others do, and then I bring it to you to say, hey, here's how you need to think about it. Because it worked for us, maybe it'll work for you, maybe it'll help you. So be sure that subscribe button and that bell icon, that way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. Also, if you're part of a Slack group, a WhatsApp group, if you've got fellow founders or team members that will get value from this video, please share it with them. It'll just mean the world to us. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. When you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.